Oh, well, the stats say it all. Manchester United 0, Liverpool 5. Manchester United suffering one of their worst defeats in recent memory and are taking a look now at the Premier League table after today's results. Chelsea sitting on top, Liverpool behind them, just a point behind them as well. Point behind that, Manchester City and West Ham with their results over Tottenham today, making it into the top 4. Manchester United in 7th. So, Stevie, what did you make of this overall? What can you take away from this? How can Liverpool beat Manchester United by such a big scoreline at Old Trafford?
Did it really happen? I've been asking myself all day, did this really happen? And while I was watching the game, I'm asking myself, is this really happening? Because it was so easy. And I'm actually glad that Klopp came out after the game and kept his head. I think he said an important thing. Before Liverpool scored, Bruno Fernandes had a great chance to put United ahead. That could have changed the game. But as soon as Liverpool scored, it was almost down tools by Manchester United. We've criticised them about not being a team. And we saw today against a real team the difference. And they couldn't get close. They couldn't make any decisions. Every decision they made was a bad one. And Liverpool, who I thought actually still had another gear, just played with them, you know. But again, it's one thing to make chances and it's another thing to take them. And Liverpool, right now, have probably got the guy on fire in world football in Mo Salah. Because a hat-trick at Old Trafford, I mean, unless you know what you're doing, that doesn't happen. So, listen, at the end of it, it's an easy win for Liverpool. None of us saw it coming, but I think it says more about how bad Manchester United are than how good Liverpool are, because what we saw from Liverpool is just what Liverpool do.
Yeah, well, we can now welcome in Don Hutchison and Frank Leboeuf, who are also watching this game. In the predictions beforehand, Frank, you said that this was going to be 0-0, so were you surprised to see such a big scoreline in Liverpool's favour?
Well, I was half right, you know. It was 0 for Manchester United. I was wrong for the second part. You know, I want to say something. At the beginning of the season, I said Mo Salah will be the top scorer. And I'm not that far to be right, you know. We'll see very soon. But no, it's a crazy performance because it's not a difficult task that Liverpool had, and I want to back up Stevie on when he's just said before. It was an easy performance for Liverpool. That's the worst for Manchester United when you have to say that. I didn't find that Liverpool had to force themselves to get a result or have been absolutely fantastic to win 5-0. I think they just did what they had to do. They were good. But I think Manchester United was very poor. And now we have to listen to Craig Burley. I think we cannot question him anymore. We have to really listen to what he has to say about the tactic of Ole Gunnar Solksjaer, the way he prepares this player, how he handled a game. I think he was nowhere near it today, and that's very appalling.
Talking about that, there's so many words to describe what we saw from Manchester United today, Don. And we've seen and we've talked about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer being able to pull it out when he needs to the most, but not today.
Not today, nor last week against Leicester, because Leicester in the second half, Kay, they absolutely dismantled Man United. You know, it was 4-2 going on 7. And I looked at my notes after the game today, after the 5-0, and I looked at my notes that I'd written down in the Leicester game. They got outworked. They got outclassed. They got out-bossed in the game. Man United's pressing is non-existent. They are down at the bottom in terms of the running stats for everyone in the Premier League. They are the Harlem Globetrotters of the Premier League. When they turn it on and when the individuals turn it on, they can win games. But when you come up against a team and a proper team, because their fixture list since the start of the season in the Premier League has actually been quite kind. And as soon as they come up against a proper team in Leicester, who beat them 4-2, and in a superior team in Liverpool beat them 5. But I agree with Stevie, it was 5 going on 6 or 7, but easy street. They didn't have to work for anything. And I think one player that might not get too much credit out of the performance today, because Salah and Jordan Henderson, there'll be lots of them that gets headlines. I thought Firmino tore Harry Maguire to shreds today. I thought the England captain had no idea on how to mark Firmino when he was dropping in the pockets. And Konate coming in was a surprise before the game. And he nailed Ronaldo in a tackle at 50-50, 8 minutes in. And that set the tone. And United just faded out of the game.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.